Welcome back, everyone, to the History Podcast. I'm Gustavus.
And I'm Christina. Today we're taking a look at a truly grim event in Scandinavian history. Something that, well, it really shaped the future of Sweden.
Absolutely, Christina. We're talking about the Stockholm Bloodbath. It's, one of those moments that just sends shivers down your spine when you think about it.
Definitely. So picture this. November 1520. Sweden is part of the Kalmar Union, right? This sort of unified monarchy of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. And the king, Christian II of Denmark, he's just been crowned King of Sweden. Sounds like a happy occasion, right?
It really does. But Christian II, he had a bit of a reputation, to put it mildly. He was trying to consolidate his power over Sweden, which had, always been a bit rebellious. And there were these powerful Swedish nobles and clergy who were constantly challenging his authority.
Right. So after his coronation, Christian II throws this huge, elaborate party for days. Everyone important in Swedish society is there. The nobles, the bishops, merchants, they're all celebrating. Sounds like a trap, doesn't it?
It was pretty much exactly that. On November 7th, after the festivities, the gates of Stockholm are suddenly closed. And then Christian II, he convenes this tribunal, and the Archbishop of Uppsala, who was, let's just say he wasn't a fan of the Swedish nationalist movement, he brings forth this accusation.
He basically claims that the Swedish opposition leaders, they had been guilty of heresy because they had, deposed him from his archbishopric earlier. And, heresy was a really big deal back then. It was punishable by death.
And it was all a ploy, really. This wasn't about genuine heresy. It was about, eliminating political rivals. The next day, on November 8th, the executions began in Stortorgen, the main square in Stockholm. It was brutal. People were beheaded, hanged.
Over 2 days, about 80 to 90 people were executed. Prominent nobles, bishops, burgomasters, even ordinary citizens who dared to speak up. Their bodies were left in the square for days as a warning. It was meant to instill fear, to crush any further resistance.
And for a while, it seemed to work. But what Christian II didn't quite grasp was that this extreme brutality would actually backfire on him spectacularly. Instead of crushing resistance, he ignited a full-scale rebellion.
Exactly. This is where Gustav Vasa comes in. He was a young nobleman whose father was one of the victims of the bloodbath. He manages to escape, goes to Dalarna, and, rallies the Swedish peasants. They were fed up with Danish rule, and this event was just the final straw.
Yeah, Gustav Vasa's rebellion, fueled by the outrage from the bloodbath, ultimately leads to Sweden breaking away from the Kalmar Union entirely. He becomes King of Sweden in 1523, founding the Vasa dynasty, which ruled Sweden for centuries. So this one horrific event really, truly changed the course of Swedish history.
It's a stark reminder of how, desperate measures can often have unintended, huge consequences. Christian II thought he was consolidating power, but he, basically helped create an independent Sweden.
A very dramatic turn of events indeed. And that's our look at the Stockholm Bloodbath for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the History Podcast.
We hope you learned something new, if not a bit unsettling. Join us next time for another dive into the past.
See you then.